Chosen one, get ready. God has marked November 25th, 26th, and 27th with divine approval. These 3 days carry a powerful spiritual significance and a release of breakthroughs. What was once blocked, God is now opening. Heaven has set these dates as a turning point for your life. On November 25th, expect the atmosphere to shift. God is clearing away confusion, disappointment, and spiritual fog. The divine wedding of Lord Rama and Goddess Sita is celebrated today, a sign that unity, harmony, and restoration are coming to your relationships and heart. You might feel sudden clarity, emotional healing, and the freedom to pursue dreams once held back. Stay alert. Prophetic signs and unexpected blessings will surface in your environment. The 25th, 26th, and 27th of November are more than just numbers on a calendar. In the courts of heaven, they are official statements, positions, and decisions that have been made. Some things have been signed, okayed, or cleared. What's coming in these 3 days has been waiting for a holy green light. That light has now been let out. Keep watching this video until the end. Let it wake up all the things inside you that have been sleeping. Also, leave your best wishes in the comments. You should write Amenalon with the number 99. This chapter is about how the world hears your soul's cries and brings them back to you in full bloom. Picked one. Now, watch this movie. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Now let's start. Some things took longer than planned, not because they weren't meant for you, but because the right time had to come along. Before anything could hit the ground, certain things had to line up like stars. God was setting the stage not only so that your gifts could find you, but also so that everyone could see what happens when God's favor moves quickly. There is a reason why November 25, 26, and 27 are chosen as times. They are timed events in which what was whispered in the spirit world becomes real. You are entering a time when locked doors will open as if they were touched by invisible hands. The signs will show up. A message I didn't expect, something that surprises you. Someone, finally, telling what they kept from you. Pay attention to the silence in the middle. It's full of hints. God has given out a list of okays. Not just your money, but also your name, your family, and your next chance. In the spirit world, these days are important. It all starts on November 25th. Something hidden starts to show itself. It could be true. Someone may finally say what they've been afraid to say. It could be the answer to the question that has been bothering you all night. It will feel like something just broke open in the air and in your spirit. The shift gets stronger on November 25. Today is the day that the permission starts to work in your area. There may be phone calls, emails might come in, people could reach out. You may also start to feel the power of release. The heavy feeling inside your chest that's been there for a while starts to go away. God is making things clear. When you look at something that used to confuse you, you'll see the truth very clearly. The weight of carrying things you didn't choose will start to lift. The release turns into appearance on November 26th. Today is the day that what God approved starts to happen in the real world. This isn't a figure of speech. This can be felt. In the right place, a name could be forgotten. A choice could be made that helps you. The money could move. There may be an official end to something. You'll start to see that everything was planned, not ignored. It was God's wish that once it was in your hands, it would never be taken away again. We didn't forget about you. You were about to be finished. The days that were hard were never a waste. People saw how many tears you shed by yourself. God heard the things you said to each other in the dark. How you kept going forward, even though you couldn't see the road. It's not about luck over the next 3 days. They have to do with alignment. It has to do with fairness. They have to do with prophecy. What God said to you in a whisper when you were ready to give up is now ringing out loud. The sound of kept vows can be heard in these times. You may notice that some people are pulling away. Do not worry. That is the divine distance. God is making a holy area around you. There are some forces that can't get in the way of this next release. In that case, if someone leaves your life before November 25th, know that this is not punishment. It works to protect. God is making sure that what is about to happen is pure. There have been decisions in your favor that were held up by pushback that you couldn't see, but now that fight has been thrown out. That which was trying to stop your freedom has been taken away by holy power. There is no way that any plan to hurt you will work. The weapon may come together, but it won't work out well. Not now, not during this season, not in these days of divine choice. Even though things have been confusing, you've never lost touch with what you know. Faith was like a flashlight in a dark cave. It helped you find your way moment by moment. And because of this, God is paying your patience, not only with gifts, but also with attention. What was always yours is about to show up again. You can do things over the next 3 days. Window not only let light in, they also show the truth. It will also be revealed to you by God. During these days, you might find out who was speaking badly about you, who tried to shut doors from the inside. But this won't ease your pain. It's meant to give you power. God is now giving you the whole picture. What will happen after this? You won't have to worry about what other people think or fear as you walk. How did this happen so fast? They will ask. But it didn't happen that quickly. It happened just the way it was supposed to. God was keeping an eye on time. You were getting ready to not only get it, but also keep it. That payment, that link, that move, that party, that completion, that permission. It's finally here, even though it took a long time to get here. Your soul will know when you wake up on November 24. You won't have to understand it to feel it. There will be less mental pressure. There will be a peace. You'll feel like God sees you in a way you haven't felt in years when something changes. That is the mark. That's the beginning. From then on, watch how the days go by. You're going to look back and say, that was the weekend everything changed. The light is already gathering, chosen one. What's been approved didn't just begin this week. It was written long before you arrived here. These aren't ordinary days you're entering. They are restoration days. They are days when the spiritual blueprint of your life intersects with the physical ground beneath your feet. You are stepping into prophecy without even realizing how much has been preserved on your behalf. The silence before this weekend wasn't just quiet. It was holy. It was where decisions were made on your name, where God spoke into the atmosphere. It's time. The angels heard it. The atmosphere shifted, and now everything that was holding its breath is beginning to exhale. You were not waiting in vain. You were standing at the gates of something that required heaven's yes. You might be sensing the tremble beneath the surface. That's not anxiety. That's spiritual movement. Things you prayed for a year ago are now in motion. Documents you were excluded from are being reprocessed with your name now on them. Money that was held up is now rerouted. Conversations that were avoided are now being forced. The divine is not whispering anymore. It's speaking clearly, boldly, loudly, and everything is responding. November 25th is a first light moment. You will begin to notice little details that confirm the greater story. Someone you haven't heard from in a long time may suddenly reach out. A delayed response may finally come through. You may wake up with a strange sense of clarity. Not about everything, but about the next step. That next step is the signal. God isn't revealing the entire blueprint at once, but He's showing you just enough to move without fear. By the time you enter November 26th, a release will ripple. It could come through a person, through a contract, through a digital confirmation, but it will come. Your soul will know it when it lands. Your atmosphere will shift. The pressure in your chest will lighten. God is not sending you into this weekend with empty hands. He's sending you with keys. Some of these keys will open doors you forgot you knocked on. Others will open vaults you didn't even know existed. And November 26th, that is the moment when God reveals why the wait was so long. It's not just what's coming, it's the way it comes. The details, the alignment, the signatures, the timing, the way everything connects will stun you. You'll look around and realize that what seemed random was never random. That the route was the blessing, that the delay was the divine setup, that the silence wasn't rejection, it was protection. There are people who saw your potential and still tried to keep you small. God saw that too. And now He is exalting you in a way that no one can deny. You're not being placed in a spotlight for ego, you're being positioned in purpose. So those who tried to sabotage your name will now have to speak it with respect. Some of them are still watching you from the sidelines, unsure how you're still standing. What they don't understand is that you weren't being carried by your own strength. You were being carried by a divine assignment, and that assignment is now entering its activation. Pay close attention during these 3 days. You might have vivid dreams. Pay attention to them. You might feel the urge to be still, to step back, to unplug. Do it. These are days to hear, to receive, to listen deeply. God is dropping revelations, hidden instructions, confirmations. You won't have to force them. They will come naturally. They will come boldly. And they will make you pause and say, "This was not for me. This was higher. What's coming is not small. It's not something you'll have to fight for again. It's something that carries authority. That authority will unlock what has been closed, not just in your life, but generationally. This is not just your reward. This is the healing of your bloodline. You are the first to cross into this new territory, but you will not be the last. Others connected to you will walk through the door after you. That's why the resistance was so intense. That's why the opposition tried so hard to break you. But here you are, still here, still chosen, still marked. And God just said yes. You don't have to beg. You don't have to plead. The verdict has been spoken. These next days will prove it. The financial shift is real. The emotional shift is lasting. The spiritual shift is irreversible. Everything about these days says one thing: God is moving. And when God moves, everything changes. People change, directions change, plans change. But most importantly, access changes. There are doors you won't have to knock on anymore. They'll open before you, some without a sound, some with a roar, but they'll open because they were coded with your frequency from the beginning. You'll walk in and feel like you've been there before. That's not déjà vu. That's divine memory. Your spirit already knows what's next. This is why things felt so tight lately. Not because something was ending, but because something was crowning. You were giving birth to a moment that was waiting on approval, and now that approval has been given. Let the days show you there are moments in history when time bends for the chosen, when heaven leans in and writes the future in real time. November 25th, 26th, and 27th are not ordinary calendar blocks. They are marked, sealed, activated, not because you demanded them, but because God ordained them. These 3 days are heaven's reply to everything that tried to rob you of your fire. Chosen one, you need to understand something sacred. This isn't just about rewards, it's about rulership. The shift you're about to experience isn't temporary, it's structural. It will redefine how you live, how you are seen, how you are spoken to, and how resources flow into your life. You're about to experience what happens when God decides that your time is no longer on hold. This is what happens when divine speed replaces delay. When people say things just started happening so fast, it's because there was a moment like this, a holy weekend, a prophetic window, a 3-day arc, where everything was silently reordered. You are walking into those exact days now. And even if your physical eyes haven't caught up to it yet, your spirit has already leapt ahead. You're not waiting for something to begin. You are arriving at the place where it already began. Some of the most powerful approvals from God come without any announcement. They don't shake the ground. They shake the structure of your entire life from the inside out. During these 3 days, there will be invisible lifts. Burdens you didn't even know you were carrying will suddenly feel lighter. People who were draining you will fall quiet. You won't have to cut cords. God is dissolving the connections himself. And when they try to reach for you again, they'll feel something they can't explain. A divine wall, a spiritual redirect. They'll feel that you are no longer accessible in the way you once were. Not because you're bitter, not because you're hiding, but because God elevated your frequency and they didn't rise with you. This elevation doesn't ask permission. It simply happens. There's something else that's going to begin happening across these 3 days. People will begin to remember you. Individuals who once overlooked your value will suddenly recall your name. Past conversations will resurface. Old situations will be reopened. But this time, the energy is different. You're not being called back into old cycles. You're being remembered so that the record can be corrected. What was stolen from you will be returned. What was denied to you will now be offered. Not by force, but by alignment. And you won't need to defend why it's yours now. The favor will speak louder than your words. Get ready to see the world tilt in your direction. This is not a fantasy. This is a divine directive. You were prepared for this quietly behind the scenes. While others thought you were stagnant, what they didn't know was that you were cocooning. And now the wings have formed. Now the transformation is undeniable. Now you're breaking into the daylight, glowing with God's appointment, wrapped in confirmation. On November 25th, it begins in whispers. You'll sense the environment speaking to you through synchronicity. The way a song plays, the time on a clock, a number that keeps repeating. These are not coincidences. These are coded confirmations. Let them speak. Let them land. God is using all of creation to affirm his yes over your life. On November 25th, the weight of it arrives. You'll notice more direct shifts. Phone calls, paperwork, contracts, conversations. The kind you thought were long gone, but they return not to haunt, but to heal. These are opportunities that were paused until you became the version of yourself that could carry them. That version is now here, stronger, sharper, softer in the spirit, but unshakable in truth. Then, November 26th pours out the abundance. The door swings open. Not a crack, not a peak, but wide. There will be no mistaking this. You will feel it in your hands, your body, your bank account, your inbox, your emotions. What once felt unreachable will now feel like it's been waiting on you. And that's the divine reversal. You weren't chasing it. It was circling you, looking for the right moment to land. This is why you had to be alone for a while. So you could recognize the moment when it was really God. Not hype, not illusion, but holy confirmation. He had to remove the noise so you could hear the approval in full clarity. Watch for unexpected connections during these 3 days. Someone may appear with information, an invitation, or access that shifts the entire game. You may think it's random, but it's not. They were stirred by something greater than them. God is using even those who don't believe to carry out his blueprint. That's how deeply your path has been crafted. Even the unaware are participating in your miracle. The breakthroughs in this window are multi-dimensional. It's not just financial, it's relational, emotional, mental, generational. The air is different because the season has changed. And once heaven announces a new season, nothing can reverse it. You are the evidence of a promise kept. And these days will become the marker, the milestone, the proof. Years from now, you'll say, "That was when I truly saw what God had planned all along." And the memory of the pain will lose its sting. Not because it didn't happen, but because the outcome redeemed it. What's ahead is more than just finally, it's divinely arranged. Every voice that doubted you will fall silent. Every delay will be reversed. Every closed gate will be unlocked, not by force, but by God's hand. The approvals aren't coming. They already came. You're now walking through the reality of what God finished before you even asked. This isn't just your moment, it's your turn. Not because of luck, not because of coincidence, but because the timeline finally caught up to your preparation. God knew when to release it, how to release it, and why these exact dates would become holy in your story. Chosen one. What's unfolding is not just provision, it is revelation. Not only of what God can do, but of who you really are in the Spirit. These 3 days aren't just about blessings, they're about remembering. You're going to start remembering your divine position. Not just that you're chosen, but that you've always carried the seed of something heaven refused to let die. Even when you tried to let it go, there's a reason you didn't break. There's a reason you didn't quit, and now that reason is about to unfold in plain sight. The November 26th shift is an activation. It triggers recognition. Something that once rejected you may now open wide for you. A person who forgot you may now remember. But this time it will be different. The energy has changed. You are not showing up needing validation. You are showing up already approved. God handled it in the background. You won't have to plead. Your presence will speak. There's a mysterious calm coming on that day, a kind of holy silence. The world may look normal to others, but your spirit will know it's anything but normal. You'll wake up sensing that heaven has cleared space for you. It will feel like the path is open, even if the details aren't fully shown yet. That's not your imagination, that's spiritual awareness. Trust what you feel. The approval is not theoretical, it's active. Then comes November 27th, and the weight of destiny begins to descend, not in a heavy way, but in a powerful way. You may feel like you're walking with more presence, more awareness, more fire in your chest. God is handing out tools, not just blessings. You will begin to feel equipped for something bigger than what you've been living. Ideas will sharpen, decisions will become clear, emotions will stabilize. You'll begin to say things like, "Now I understand why it didn't work before." That understanding is part of the gift. That clarity is sacred. God is also going to use this day to close the mouths of false voices. People who doubted, gossiped, or cast spiritual fog over your name are going to lose access, not just to your time, but to your energy. You won't have to block them. They will fade by divine removal. And what's more important is this: you won't chase after anyone anymore. The approval changed your direction. You're now facing forward, and everything that belongs to your next level will face you.